Alright, Identity. A movie starring John Cusack, Ray Liotta, and Amanda Peet, several others. I liked this movie a lot when I was little. I worshipped the hell out of it. It completely threw me a loop. I feel like any movie with a big twist that you see when you're little tends to make a big impression on you, because it's when you start to realize that not everything is as it seems when it comes to movies and TV and stuff like that. And Identity was one of the ones that threw me for a loop when I was little. Watching this again, I kind of sort of remembered what the big twist is. I'm going to try and reserve that for later. I kind of sort of remembered what the twist was. I didn't remember all the steps that were taken to get there. So this was still a new sit for me. I hadn't watched it since God, at least 2005 or something like that. So it had been a while. I still liked it. I still like it quite a bit. Some things obviously don't stand as well, don't stand the test of time as well to me as they did before. You notice more things when you're older. For example, okay, there's kind of two things going on at once. On the one hand, there's a hearing, or like a secret hearing. I don't even know how that fucking works, but I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. Everything's got to be done officially in court. But there's like this secret whatever club meeting with the judge about the fate of someone who may or who definitely murdered 6 people. And there's this, they're trying to debate his fate, basically. And so that's one plot you've got going on. On the other hand, you've got the main draw of the movie, what's advertised in the trailers, which is John Cusack and Ray Liotta and Amanda Peet and all them. All these strangers meet up at a motel. Through happenstance, they've all got their reasons or whatever that sends them there, and one by one they start getting picked off by a mysterious killer, and they start to find that they have more in common than just the motel. So you've got kind of two things going on at once. The movie is juggling more than one thing at once. Having watched this again, I'll save spoilers for the end of this review, because I know a couple of you are watching this that haven't seen the movie yet, and I want to give you a chance to go watch it, because you definitely should. It's on Netflix. It's on the instant watch. So it's only like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. So it's a quick sit. But obviously the two are connected. They're not two completely different movies. There is an underlying common ground between them. But watching this again now, it feels like there is more to that than just coincidence. Okay, we'll save spoilers for a little bit. Performance-wise, everyone is still grounded for the most part. Amanda Peet, she just never quite clicks for me. It's not that she's doing anything particularly wrong. I just don't know that I can always take her seriously. I feel like, I don't know. I still have yet to figure that out. I kind of gave up on that exploit a long time ago, and I still haven't quite figured it out. I guess maybe I'm just more used to her in comedies. I think she's funnier than she is. She's a better comedian to me than she is a serious dramatic actress. And I do mean that as a compliment. I do think she's genuinely funny. Granted, I haven't seen her be serious in a whole lot of things, so I don't know. What else? John Cusack, my man. I love John Cusack. He's one of the most likable actors out there. He's a very versatile man as well. Kind of a great everyman kind of actor. Ray Liotta doing a good, his intimidating type shtick. Oh, not shtick, that seems insulting. There are a few people in this that stand out to me. Specifically, there's a newlywed couple. And not only, they're not terrible at what they do either, acting-wise. It's just that their characters are so irritating and unnecessary. It's very obvious that a lot of these people are here strictly to contribute to the body count, which is really unfortunate. There's the very overly bitchy actress Hollywood type. There's the douchebag of the husband of the newlyweds, who's so overly douchey that it does come off as too much. Like, you can almost feel like the writer's sitting there writing, like, we have to make sure this guy's an asshole, so let's write this line and this line and this line. And there's like this whole backed up backstory of the newlywed that we have no real idea about. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they have or haven't been told. So when they have a discussion and they refer to things that from their past or people from their past, I don't know what they're talking about. So it feels like I'm just watching a high school fight, a cat fight is what it feels like. So the newlywed couple for me was really distracting in this. And then, you know, like I said, there's the over-the-top characters, like those two and, the Busey brother. He was Ace in Starship Troopers. God, I get all their first names mixed up. But, I mean, it's the only Busey brother in that movie. He's a little much. I don't know what he was going for. Granted, he has like 3 lines of dialogue in the movie. I don't know what you could have done with that. Maybe 5 lines of dialogue. But the few things he has to work with where he's supposed to... I don't know. I don't know what he was going for, really. Just a little... Whatever he was doing it too much. And then, like I said, the over-the-top bitch Hollywood character... So there are definitely weak links to the movie, or at least more that I notice now than before. Yet the movie still holds up. It does go for the jump scare type thing, but not too often. More often than not, what the movie does is just tell its story. It's far more focused on the strange events going on in the motel, which helps to contribute to it being only an hour and 20 minutes. If they had really tried and forced the whole like slow build to a scare every single time and then do the jump scare thing, or at least it would have felt longer at least. Excuse me. And now we're going to get into spoiler territory, because you can't talk about this movie without getting into spoilers. And this movie is literally, I think it's literally 10 years old. So you're lucky I'm even giving you a spoiler warning at all. But if you haven't seen the movie, I'm going to give you like 5 seconds to just stop this, go watch it on instant Netflix. Actually, no, I won't give. I'll give you an hour and a half to go and watch this movie, and then come back here. Okay, go. Okay, so the big twist at the end is that all the people in the motel are just personalities to the crazy guy that killed the one that's on the secret trial, the one that killed 6 people. And they're trying to convince the judge that the personality that did the killing is no longer an issue, aka they're just kind of waiting, the people in the secret club meeting are just kind of waiting for the people in the motel to dwindle down to 1, hence the countdown. Not that I have necessarily an issue with that. Granted, people with multiple personalities have no idea of each other. They have no concept of each other and cannot interact with each other. So that's ludicrous. But it does make for an interesting movie. Okay, I'll go with that. To some degree. It's the presentation in the movie that does it well. Or about as well as you can. What I meant earlier by, noticing now that there's more common ground between the two, I mean, the fact that the guy in the real guy, the guy that's on trial, killed 6 people, is that supposed to somehow correlate with the killings going on in the motel? Like, in the motel thing, are we kind of seeing what he saw when... See, I don't know, because that wouldn't make sense, because in real life he killed 6 people. In the motel thing, there's way more than 6 people. So maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But at the same time, though, like, it turns out that the kid was the killer. And he was the kid when he witnessed all that, the traumatic events. So there's gotta be, like, a link there somewhere. Maybe it's just symbolism. Maybe it's just symbolism and it's metaphors and all that shit, and there's not an actual grounded connection between the two. The twist that it's the kid definitely does throw you for a loop, but it's so goofy. It's so goofy, and some of it doesn't even really make sense. I realize that it's all taking place in someone's mind, and things like the bodies disappearing and the keys just magically appearing don't make sense anyway. But up until that point, things still had to make sense. They still had to die in ways that made sense. And then once they died, then they could supernatural their way out of there. So it doesn't make sense. Otherwise, the character or the personalities would have started catching on earlier that something wasn't right. In the movie, they only start to notice something is really wrong when the bodies start disappearing and the keychains start magically appearing. It's like, what was keeping it grounded and real up to that point? Surely you would think it would be nothing because a little kid is going around killing these people in ways that little kids can't kill people. Decapitating bitch ladies, shoving baseball bats down people's throats, things like that. You couldn't possibly do that. The one killed and stabbing a grown man, and then there's that scene where the killer is trying to attack the girl from the faculty. She locks herself in the second time, because the first time it was the boyfriend trying to get in. The second time it was the killer. And it's like she's pulling with all her might, and yet the door is like almost like open up like this. It's getting that far open while she's pulling from the other side. It's like there's no way that the little kid would be pulling that hard. You wouldn't be able to. He's still just a kid. So there's the question of what exactly can you get away with? And then if you're asking yourself that question, then really it feels kind of cheap that the little boy is the killer, because it feels like the script was intentionally misleading you to being like, it could be anybody. If we had known, if the rules had applied to the little kid like they should have, then you would have picked up on it sooner that it was probably the kid. How did he cause the explosion? Did he like grenade the car or something? I don't understand that. But whatever. And then seeing him walk away from the green screen explosion like a Bond, like 007 or something, was a little much. So twist was kind of weak. Yeah. And also, well, yeah, it was just kind of weak, I guess. I like the ending note that it leaves on. That I do obviously like there is that false start or that false end of just being like, oh, just the one personality now, but the movie keeps going. You're like, this is going on a little longer than you would think. There's probably someone else left. But I still enjoyed it. I don't know what you guys made of it, or what you made of it. It's just that now there are some things that you pick up on. It's not quite as bad as with like Orphan or Hide and Seek, where the twist comes and you're just like, bullshit. You know what I mean? Or it's just like, there is no fucking way. Like, you couldn't suspend my disbelief with a fucking crane with those movies. God, I hate Orphan so much. So yeah, that's what I thought of Identity. And thank you Netflix, and thank you Sam for hooking this all up, I guess, for lack of better terms. I will hopefully we'll get around to Silent House pretty soon, because I still got to do that one too. So until then, bye.